Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with some Southern and Cajun flair. Daniel Hawks, that's Jared Roser. Today we are going to talk about LSU pulling out another victory out in Omaha. They're 2-0 in the College World Series right now. Also, Game 5 of the NBA Finals and some Pelicans news on the back end. Jared, how are you doing today?
Good, man. Today did not look like I anticipated, starting with baseball game being resumed on a Tuesday morning, and so we're obviously switching up a lot of scheduling dynamics. But Tigers take care of business. They're 2-0, and the rest of the way, I don't think we're gonna have. Well, we'll see. I was gonna say I don't think we're gonna have LSU baseball and finals overlap scheduling, but we've seen how quickly the scheduling can get botched.
Yeah,
so
we don't know. It's silly of you to even say that you would know when you don't know. Okay,
Yeah.
It's like going to a music festival when there's going to be rain, and then you get sent home while you're already there. So,
well, that would never happen.
That would never happen, not to anyone in Nashville, Tennessee, even at all. Anyway, yes, LSU beat UCLA after a rain delay stopped the game yesterday. They restarted today at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, and LSU just kind of took care of business. UCLA could really never get anything else on the board. They were switching out pitchers like they were trying to do quick change. They could not get any offense kind of started. LSU was able to get in a couple more runs and really pad the lead that they built yesterday before the rain delay kind of stopped the game. And LSU's sitting pretty right now in Omaha, 2-0. It's a double elimination tournament. They have not even one elimination of the double in there. What do you think about this Omaha run for LSU right now? What do you think about this upcoming game tomorrow? Depending, it's going to be one of the two teams that LSU beat, whether it's UCLA or Arkansas. And how do you see kind of the rest of this thing playing out?
Yeah, well, the good news for LSU fans is this is the 8th time that LSU has started a College World Series 2-0, and of the previous 7 times, 6 of them they've gone on to win the national championship. So as long as they can avoid what happened in '98 and have things kind of unravel on them, the history is certainly positive there. And the way that they're playing has been super encouraging. Obviously, now we've only been through 2 games, and so we knew in 2 games with Cade Anderson and Anthony Ianson at the top of your pitching rotation that you felt really good about LSU against anyone with those 2 guys. And then we've talked recently about Kason Evans and the way that he's come on during the course of his freshman year. And so great job by him coming out Tuesday morning and pitching through this restart. Several scoreless innings, was really dealing there. Had his 5th, 6th, and 7th innings, he only faced 10 batters, so just one more than the minimum. And so he came out.
Yeah,
he came out fast and kind of jump started some things. The bats got right back to work, and 8 of the 9 guys in the lineup end up with hits during the course of this 2-day game 2. You saw Jared Jones and Ethan Fry come back alive a little bit with some big hits. Stephen Milam has been crushing it all NCAA tournament. He's now 12 for 27, so almost 450 in the NCAA tournament. And today in particular, all 4 runs were 2-out hitting. And so the work that they did, 6 for 11 on the day, not the game, but the day, with 2 outs, and 5 for 9 with runners on and 2 outs is really impressive. And you've got to like LSU's chances right now. I'm not going to say as much as anyone else, but literally more than anyone else in the field.
I will say that. I think LSU has shown that they are the team to beat by far in this NCAA College World Series. And they're a fun team to watch. I mean, I'm extremely biased. I don't know if you knew that, but
yeah. Also, I mean, we're talking a lot about the pitching and the hitting and whatnot. The defense has been phenomenal. They make all the routine plays and then some. Stephen Milam turned a double play to Jones today, and so through 2 games they have 3 double plays up there, and they're making a habit of backing up whoever the hell's on the mound on a given day, in professional level defensive fashion too.
Yeah. And, there's not a lot to, nitpick with this LSU team right now. They're rolling. It seems like ever since the Super Regional, when, they lost that second game, after that, they've just kind of clicked. Would love to see it. I would love to see them take on Coastal Carolina and see that streak just be alive going up against kind of a David versus Goliath, where I'd be heavily rooting for Goliath. So, this has been a very, I think, fun College World Series so far. Just with the surprises of people of teams who are there, and then the teams that are winning. They're winning in a very fun and sometimes dramatic and sometimes just beat down way. It's been a good World Series so far.
Now this is where things get interesting though, because I mean the Tigers lost that third game of the regional a couple weeks ago after Anderson and Ianson had already pitched. You got to rely on Anderson and Ianson in the supers against West Virginia. But now you go into whatever your third game is, and you don't know necessarily because of the rain cutting Ianson short on Monday night when they'll bring him back. They'll bring him back a little bit more quickly, it would appear, than had he pitched his typical distance in that game. Whether they come back with him right away on Wednesday night, I don't know. He did pitch, 3 innings, I think 44 pitches or something, like somewhere 45 to 55 pitches in that start of this game. But if it's not him, and you also just had Case and Evans have to extend quite a bit in game 2,
who steps up?
It gets interesting. You've seen them go to Jaden Newt quite a bit as the third guy. Zach Collin was a guy they went to in that regional as well. And so, those two would make a lot of sense. I think whoever it is, you probably see, you're not looking at someone to go extend and pitch 7, 8, 9 innings like you would an Anderson or an Ianson potentially. And so you'll see a few different faces, but I think the good news is whoever you're pitching, you're going against a team in either Arkansas or UCLA that has by that point had to face a whole extra game and use pitching on a whole extra game and is trying to play catch up against you and has to beat you twice. But that's kind of where you look now is, okay, where does LSU turn pitching staff wise for this third game? How ready is an Ianson to bounce back potentially? How ready is an Evans? Probably not in that game, but maybe by the next game to bounce back at some point. And yeah, how do you handle those 2 games without the full complement of your star aces?
Well, what happens is that you get Mardi Gras Mike and you just take the whole damn thing. That's what
I feel super confident that they're going to figure this out. I think it would be obviously great if you go ahead and win that game that is, barring weather, currently scheduled for Wednesday night, and just give yourself a couple of days of rest before going into a championship series. But the beauty of where you are at 2-0 is that you also have a little bit of room for error.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Absolutely. Hey, cannot wait for these next games. They will not interfere with the next NCAA game, NBA game, the NBA Finals match. But we'll see. Hopefully this weekend we get to a Game 7 and we get another little overlap episode. Go Tigers! Good luck in Omaha the rest of the way. That's all I got to say. Yeah. Next up, NBA Finals Game 5. Jalen Williams went off. 40 points. Shea had over 30. They combined for, I think it was 71 points total. I believe Shea had 31. Halliburton looks hurt. He looks like he is not 100%, but that is the case in the NBA playoffs. It is a grind. It is a grueling couple months. And this is the culmination of all of that. Do you think that the Pacers have a shot to take this to in Game 7?
They need Tyrese Halliburton to look closer to right and to, have a bigger game than what we've seen him have. And, whether that's scoring, which you didn't see him do any of in Game 5, or something, he was struggling quite a bit in that game and is clearly banged up. Without a rebound performance from him, then no, I don't think the Pacers can force a Game 7. And even if they get it, the way the Thunder are playing, and now
at home, especially, like
a young team now getting a chance to smell some kind of blood in the water going into Game 6, I think they're going to be that much more of a handful to deal with, the way that they've been flying around and defending, knowing that they just have to get one more. I think they're going to they're going to be pretty hyped and get after it. So I don't know that we see this thing get to Game 7, but obviously Indiana has surprised and impressed and, disproven us plenty of times to get to this point. So we'll see.
If Halliburton's not right, there's just no shot. I mean, even with how well they played yesterday, and you would assume that the role players are going to kind of play above what they would usually play being at home, but they played pretty well last night. You just got nothing from Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know what is going on with his leg, if it is something that he can play through. If it's something where he can play through, but he plays like last night, then it really doesn't matter. The Oklahoma City Thunder will be the NBA champions this year. So
that game 5, you give up whatever it was, 32, I think, points off turnovers to OKC. You get nothing from Halliburton. You don't shoot well from deep. Everything that could go wrong in a lot of ways for the Pacers went wrong. And yet still in the fourth quarter, they're at one point down only 2.
Yeah.
With 6 minutes left, they're only down 6 and have a chance. And then OKC just kind of OKC'd the situation. Like they're at that point with 6 minutes, Jalen hits a shot, SGA gets back-to-back steals and 1-on-1, an assist to Jalen on the other, then Caruso gets a steal. And so suddenly a 6-point margin becomes 15 or 16 in the span of like 50 seconds. And then that thing is just essentially over at that point. But particularly with the way that Halliburton is playing, but for so much to go not the Pacers' way and for them to still be right there once again is incredible, the way that they have a knack for doing that, just hanging around one way or another. But you need more to go right.
Yeah. And I mean, it is that has made this a very interesting finals, where I think most people thought that this was going to be kind of a cakewalk for the Thunder. And regardless of what happens, Indiana has proved that wrong. So I'm sad for the NBA season to be over, possibly in 1, maybe 2 games. But, I'm happy that this is the way that we went out watching this, because it has given me a lot of hope for the Eastern Conference in general, because the Eastern Conference feels real rough right now, just across the board. Really wish that the Pelicans could get back over to the Eastern Conference. I think that would be great. Let's bring Seattle and Vegas in, and then just boot New Orleans back to the Eastern Conference. I think that'd be pretty good of everyone.
I agree that there's nothing that could happen right now that would be better for the Pelicans than getting moved back to the East. Unfortunately, it sounds like Minnesota will be the team that goes to the East if they end up adding a Seattle and a Vegas, or what it sounds like Seattle and Vegas. But if they add 2 West Coast teams, it sounds like Minnesota will get moved over to the East. So, hey, great for Ant and those guys. Sucks for the Pels still, but I agree with you. It sucks that the season's almost over, but it's certainly been fun. I've been trying to milk every opportunity to watch these last few games, but on the bright side, we're also already getting major offseason news from all over the place, not just with, KD rumors and those type of things, but the Magic go out on Sunday and trade and get Desmond Bane. Now, I mean, the Pacers literally during the finals make a deal with the Pels, and so we're just kind of feeding right into draft mode for later next week.
Yeah, and also, Trey Murphy and Herb Jones are in hella trade rumors. I mean, they are just popping up all over the place. I think it's very likely that you see the Pelicans super duper busy even within the next week. The way that mock drafts have been going out right now, a bunch of them now have Ace Bailey falling, which kind of bumps Trey Johnson to the Pelicans. I've seen that in a lot of mock drafts. That would be my dream scenario if the Pelicans don't move up to try and get, maybe not a Dylan Harper, but get in the line for a VJ Edgecombe or someone like that. I think Trey Johnson is one of the most skilled players coming out of this draft. I think he's got a just absolutely gorgeous shooting form and shot. And also, he really, really knows the game. He knows how to move without the ball. And I think it would be a great fit on that Pelicans team, and a great fit for what Zion wants to do is get down the floor, use his size, use his speed, use his agility, either go to the basket or kick out to a shooter. If you have Trey Johnson, CJ McCollum, and then Trey Murphy, I think that's just a great lineup for Zion to play around with.
If one of those guys falls, like a Trey Johnson, somebody that you feel really good about, falls to 7, then immediately you have to feel so much better about the way that this draft lottery at the time seeming debacle went for the Pels. And so interested to see what happens next week. Certainly, just to put some folks' minds at ease a little bit with all of the Trey and Herb trade talks. I don't expect either one of those dudes to get moved this offseason, and unless it ends up being a situation where they are just blown away by an offer that comes that way. Like, I think the Desmond Bane offer, a lot of people are looking at and saying, man, did the Magic give up a lot to get Desmond Bane? And I don't know that they overpaid for a guy that looks like he's the perfect piece to try and get them into title contention, at least in the Eastern Conference. And I think that to move either Herb or Trey, that the Pels would probably be looking at least that much, if not, particularly in Trey's case, even more.
Yeah.
And that they'll listen to offers. But I think as much of the trade buzz, we've seen every offseason, the amount of trade buzz that circles Zion or other